I've been playing eFootball for years now, and honestly, it's been a roller coaster, but not in a good way. The game has moments that feel like they could be amazing, but most of the time, it's just frustrating, irritating, and honestly, kind of a disappointment. I want to break down everything I've noticed while playing, so you can get the full picture. 1. Matchmaking needs serious improvement. One of the biggest issues right now is matchmaking. Sometimes I get paired with players who are way above my skill level. In those matches, it feels impossible to compete. Other times, I get opponents who are far weaker, which makes the match boring and unrewarding. A football game should be about challenge and skill, but eFootball's matchmaking feels completely random. It doesn't matter how much I practice or try to improve. If the game pairs me with someone too strong or too weak, my skill doesn't matter. Konami seriously needs to improve this system. Players deserve fair matches that test their abilities, not matches that feel like the game is punishing or ignoring them. 2. Scripting ruins the fun. Scripting is another huge problem. For those who don't know, scripting is when the game decides certain outcomes in a match, like your shots missing wide even when perfectly aimed, your passes going nowhere, or your opponent scoring from impossible situations. I can't count how many times I've played well, executed a perfect tactic, and still lost because the game decided I should fail. It's infuriating, because a football game should reward skill. Konami needs to decrease scripting as much as possible. Right now, it's the main reason this game feels so unfair. 3. Lag, leggy gameplay, and input problems. One of the worst things for me personally is how laggy the game feels while playing. Sometimes when I'm dribbling, my player hesitates or moves slower than I press the controls. Passing and shooting can feel delayed. Defenders react unpredictably, and goalkeepers save impossible shots while letting easy ones slip through. It's irritating because it makes it hard to enjoy the game. Even when I'm playing well, you could be pulling off a perfect dribble. Server issues and unresponsive gameplay ruin all the fun out of online play. 4. Gameplay balance and AI. The AI and gameplay balance are also a mess. Even your own players will stop moving in critical moments, which is just plain irritating. A football game should feel consistent and responsive, but eFootball doesn't. It makes matches unpredictable. In practice, however, all these modes are affected by scripting, lag, matchmaking issues, and inconsistent AI. Career mode could have been a place to experiment with tactics, manage transfers, and see strategies come to life. But frequent inconsistencies make it frustrating. Attacks collapse when AI teammates freeze or move unpredictably. Passes go astray, and defenders fail to mark opponents. Even small glitches reduce the satisfaction of building a team and testing strategies. Online matches, theoretically the most exciting mode, often feel like a gamble. You can dominate possession, execute perfect passes, and make tactical plays. Yet the game sometimes punishes you through random scripting events. A goal that should count might be blocked, or an opponent scores from impossible situations. This unpredictability makes competitive play stressful rather than enjoyable. Special challenges, while less affected, still suffer from AI misbehavior and input delays. Timing-sensitive tasks can become artificially difficult, reducing immersion and satisfaction. The frustrating part is that the potential for great gameplay is there. When everything works, passes connect, AI behaves predictably, and inputs are responsive, matches can feel tactical and exciting. But these moments are rare, and glitches overshadow them, forcing players to adapt to the game rather than play naturally. 6. Graphics and presentation. Visually, eFootball is impressive. Player models, stadiums, animations, and environmental effects are detailed, creating a convincing football experience. Crowds react dynamically, lighting adjusts realistically, and even player jerseys respond naturally to movement. When the game works correctly, matches can feel cinematic, like watching a real broadcast. Animations are smooth, sprints, tackles, shots, and dribbles all look natural. Konami clearly invested in the visuals, and this is one of the game's strong points. However, graphics cannot make up for poor gameplay mechanics. Beautiful animations mean little when passes fail. AI behaves unpredictably, or scripting overrides player actions. In fact, the strong visuals can highlight gameplay issues. For example, a perfectly executed dribble can end in a misplaced pass, or a striker may miss a through ball despite proper timing. These inconsistencies make the game feel less like a simulation and more like a frustrating experiment in randomness. In short, the presentation is excellent, but it cannot save a game whose core mechanics are broken. Gameplay always matters more than aesthetics in a football. And 7. My personal experience. Playing eFootball is irritating. I often approach matches calm and focused, expecting skill and strategy to decide outcomes, yet almost every session exposes me to issues beyond my control. Input delays make timing difficult. Scripting sometimes punishes perfect plays, and AI teammates move unpredictably. For example, a clear scoring opportunity can be ruined because an AI defender intercepts the ball from nowhere, or a perfectly timed pass to my striker goes wasted because they run past it. These moments aren't just frustrating, they reduce motivation to play. The game often feels as likely to punish skill as reward it. Even casual matches are affected. Short online games can turn into laggy, scripted nightmares, leaving me irritated, disappointed, and sometimes even angry. Instead of excitement or satisfaction, the game often generates stress. A football simulator should reward skill, strategy, and creativity, but eFootball often does the opposite. 8. What Konami needs to do. For eFootball to reach its potential, Konami must address the core gameplay issues, improve matchmaking. Online matches should pair players of similar skill to ensure fair, competitive games. Decrease scripting. Player skill should determine outcomes, not random game interventions. Fix lag and input delays. Responsive controls are essential for a satisfying football experience. Improve AI. Defenders, attackers, and goalkeepers should behave consistently and realistically. Balance gameplay. Eliminate unpredictable freezes, sliding players, and unfair advantages. These are fundamental changes. Without them, even excellent graphics and animations cannot make the game enjoyable. 9. Conclusion. eFootball has massive potential. The graphics, animations, and tactical depth could make it a top football simulator. However, as it stands, frustration dominates gameplay. Matchmaking issues, scripting, lag, and inconsistent AI leave players feeling powerless, even when the game briefly works as intended. Those moments are overshadowed by repeated inconsistencies. Football should reward skill, strategy, and creativity, but eFootball often punishes them. Until Konami addresses these critical issues, the game remains a visually polished disappointment. For now, eFootball is hard to recommend to anyone seeking a fair. It hints at what it could be, but without serious fixes. It's more stress than fun. So this was my full breakthrough of eFootball 2026, and also happy Ramadan Kareem to my fellow Muslims out there, and make sure to like this video and subscribe and share.